Oh, now it says we're live. Hi, everyone. I am here today with Elpida Bauman. Do I say your name right?
Yes.
Okay. um, she is the expert that I am having in my membership group this month. And she's going to teach us about feng shui. And today we're going to do an interview with her to learn all about her business and what she does and to talk about what she's going to be doing in the membership. So, first, oh, it says I'm not live here. Okay, sorry. Okay, so we're still attempting to go live. Okay, for some reason it won't go live in the one place. Okay, well, I'm going to go on my Facebook and I'm going to share it to, yeah, so it won't go live on my profile page suddenly. Wow, that's awesome. This crap changes every week. So it's really fun, let me tell you. Okay, but we are live on my business page. Okay, so I'm going to share it to, and Suzanne is here. Hi, Suzanne. Um, okay, so I'm going to share it to the numerology group. Okay. And I'm going to share it to the membership group. So hopefully more people see us. And Elpida, you're welcome to share it anywhere that you would like to share it. And then we will get started.
Yeah, as soon as it pops up, I'll share it over.
Okay. Okay. So now it won't let me share to. Why is it like this? It's like I can share it one place, but I can't share it anywhere else. Like, what the heck? Okay, let me try one more thing. I'm trying to get it into the membership group as well, and it's not letting me share it there. And it also doesn't look like it's in the Facebook group. Facebook, I love you. Please stop messing with me every single time I go live. It's really frustrating. Let's see. Let me try again in StreamYard. I am so sorry, guys. I just have constant technical difficulties with this stuff. It just doesn't work.
That's okay. I was able to share it, I think, to my profile. It said it posted.
Okay, well, that's good.
But I'm sharing from Facebook, so.
Yeah, I'm trying to share from Facebook because you can't share from StreamYard anymore. So StreamYard will let you go live on either your business profile or your regular profile, but it won't let you go live in groups anymore. And then it lets you share things to groups, or at least it did last week. But that doesn't mean it will this week because this week it's not letting me. So we'll see. This is so fun. This is my favorite thing that ever happens every single week. Anyway, well, whoever's with us, I'm sorry if this is frustrating because this is how we do things around here. Frustrating as possible. Oh, I know why it's not sharing because it's saying that I have to approve it. Stupid spammers always like make me have all these settings I have to approve all the time. Okay. Okay, so now it should be in the Facebook group.
Okay.
Tell me that it is. Sorry. Okay, it is. It's there. Yay.
Okay. Yeah, mine posted really quickly to my profile, but to my Facebook business page, it's taking forever. So we'll just let that do its thing in another tab.
Yeah, this is just what it does. So I don't know. Okay. And yeah, it's not letting me share to the other group because it won't let me go live on my Facebook profile. So anyway, so I give up. Whatever. We did what we could do. Anyway. Oh, Suzanne says we're going in and out. Well, that sucks. Suzanne, can you share it in the membership group? Because it won't let me do that for some reason. I'll go there in case I need to approve it, but it's not letting me share there. I don't even see the group now. Oh, now I do. Like, I don't even see it now. Okay. All right. Well,
yeah, my solution always is to open up more tabs.
Yeah, my solution is open up everything and throw spaghetti at it.
Exactly.
That's what we're doing here, right? Okay. So
No, I don't want to reload. Cancel, reload. No, cancel.
Okay. I'm just going to start because I don't know what else to do. So anyway, thank you, Suzanne. Thank you for helping. Hopefully it just works. I have a cat in a box that's scratching, so yay. She likes to do this thing. She does this thing where she goes like this with her paws on the door and on boxes and stuff, and she's doing that right now because there's a new box. So of course it's a fancy thing that she never saw before. So anyway. All right. So anyway, so Elpida, check it out. Welcome to my life, I guess. Welcome to Tammy's world. So this is what's going on, guys. Every month in my membership, I teach a new subject. Okay, so this month we're doing crystals and crystal grids. Last month we did automatic writing and pendulums. We do all different things every month. And I started bringing in experts every month to teach a class as well. Hang on one second. I have a dog that is barking. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I'm still sharing.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think I shared it like 8 times in my business page. So
well, as long as it works, that's all that matters, right? So, exactly. Anyway, okay.
The more the merrier.
Yes, of course. So okay. So anyway, so every month we do a different subject, and we started last month where I bring an expert in to teach a subject at the end of the month, and now we're starting these interviews in the second week of the month. So it's kind of like every week we're doing something in the membership now. Well, I'm bringing in experts that can teach, whatever they do, like whatever spiritual modality that they do, they can teach a class on it, or they could do like a group meditation or hypnosis or whatever. So last month we did crystal balls. We learned how to read crystal balls, like how we could see like messages inside of them and things like that. And this month we're doing feng shui with Elpida because she does feng shui. So that is why I have her here. We're going to ask her a whole bunch of questions about what she does and how it works and things like that. So that is what we're doing here today. So this is interview number 1. I need one of those like clapper things or whatever they're called. Interview number 1, clap. I need to make one of those. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. So Elpida, tell us about what you practice and whatever you want to tell us about your business. Like tell us about your business, how it works, what you do, blah, 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 whatever. All the stuff.
Well, thank you for having me here. And feng shui is one of the modalities I use. Actually, it's really interesting because we've talked about this, like how do I articulate what do I do? And I feel like the best way to say it is as a business strategist. I am a certified life coach. I'm a certified feng shui practitioner. I'm certified in like, I don't even know how many modalities, plus a whole bunch others that are on my laptop waiting for me to finish the course.
Of course.
But my zone of genius is really like helping women value, monetize, and market their gifts. So I use human design. I use feng shui. Feng shui for me is like, we've tried everything. And it's the little extra push. And when I mean tried everything, a lot of stuff, as you know, is a lot of mindset stuff. It's like, I was actually working with a woman today and she was saying how she has this fear of failure. I'm like, that's just really interesting because in human design, that's one of her gifts is helping people overcome their fear of failure. And she's like, that's just so ironic. And I'm like, exactly. We're meant to teach the things that we are here to learn.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't be struggling with it if you weren't here to teach it to someone, right?
Exactly. And the more that we teach it, the more we learn. Like I've had a lot of clients where they're like, they can do it for others, but they can't do it for themselves. And I said, that's just a belief. That's just a story that you tell yourself.
Yeah.
Like for years, I was just like, I don't know how to market myself. And when I look at my human design, which is another modality that I use, it screams like you're really good at editing. You're really good at writing. You're really good at marketing. It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, we have all these stories going on in our head of all the things that we have learned and been told. And a lot of things, like we get our hands slapped whenever we're bigger than we should be, or whatever, And I think a lot of people think like, I can't do all these things. Like I have always said, I can't market myself. I am so bad at that. I am so bad at telling people to pay me money. I'm so bad at accepting money. Like I'm really bad at that. But the truth is that I could get anybody to do anything if I believe in it,
Exactly.
But whenever I don't believe in it, that's when it gets in my way. Like I can't market for other people, but I can market for me when I believe in something, But that's the only way. That's the only way it works for me. So it must be energetics.
Well, it is. And it's so funny you talk about belief because that's the key ingredient is when we believe in ourselves and what we're doing, it just takes off. And that's where I like to bring in feng shui because feng shui is about harmonizing your environment because our environment is a reflection of who we are right now. So if you've got a lot of clutter in your mind, you'll see it in your space.
Oh yeah, you don't want to see my room right now. Like, you don't even want to look around this place. I feel like it's getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, but you've got your you've got the boxes I sent you. You've got all this stuff. You're in the process, right?
I'm in the process of like a lot of different things. That is why. Actually, I just kind of have a new project all over.
Right. And it's really interesting because I can walk into somebody's space and I can tell you exactly what's going on in their life by looking at their feng shui. It's like,
that's awesome.
Magic. And what happens is it's a two-way mirror where if we see that there's clutter in a certain area and we're struggling with that area, we can go and declutter that area and set an intention and things shift.
So when I did feng shui with you, okay, so I had a reading or a session or whatever you call it. I had that with Elpida a few months ago, okay? And what you did was you combined human design with feng shui. And what you told me was that every area of my office / bedroom, because my bedroom's just really big, so half is the office and half is the bedroom. You said that every different area is a different area of my life. And when I get the flow going right with all of those areas, then my life will be like flowing, right? Am I like understanding that right?
More or less. It's so funny because one of the boxes is behind you and it actually shows it's over your shoulder.
I want to show the boxes. I was gonna wait to do that, but that's okay. We can show them now. So this is the box that let's put it this way. This is the box that Elpida created. So every month in the membership, we have like an add-on that it's optional to buy. But we will actually send you a physical box or product or whatever. Like last month we sent crystal ball kits. So you'd have everything that you needed for crystal ball class, and we sent out pendulums. And this month we're sending all the stuff for crystal grids and all the stuff for feng shui class. So Elpida made these boxes for us. And so if you ended up ordering one, or you do end up ordering one in the membership, you'll get the box that has, what is this called?
That's the Bagua. That's the energy map. Okay. So it tells you what each part of your space represents.
Okay. And then on the inside, she put these. What are these?
So that tells you the crystal that goes with each area.
Okay. And then I put together this. This is a bag of crystals for all those different areas. So like you'll get all the crystals Sorry, they're like gonna fall, but you'll get all the crystals that go with those areas. And then I also put, I didn't get to show you this, but I did these last night. I put all the meanings of all the crystals in there that you're getting.
Oh,
so that
beautiful.
So they'll get this amazing box. I keep moving it over there, but anyway, they'll get this amazing box. They'll get these amazing crystals. They'll get the whatever this tells them like all about like the placement of the crystals. Is that what it?
Which crystal goes in which area? Yes.
Okay. And then this tells you the bagua, whatever that is. Tell me what that is again. I don't understand.
So in feng shui, what we do is we separate our space. So if we're doing like when we did your master bedroom, I actually took the picture of your floor plan. So you did a hand-drawn floor plan, like you're looking down on it, right?
Okay.
And then we just divide it into 9 equal boxes.
And that's what this is?
Right. So we do a 3x3 grid, and each area represents a different area of your life.
So do you do this as like a floor plan for your house or for each room of your house or for both?
Like, in traditional feng shui, we usually, and I don't always do traditional feng shui. I do more of an intuitive thing.
I like things that are not traditional. So that's probably why I'm attracted to you, you know?
Awesome. So in traditional feng shui, we do the property, we do the house, and then we do the master bedroom. If we're doing a business, we'll do the office. In your case, it's one and the same. You can, like, let's say your child is having, like, I'm doing a session for someone who's having issues with their children. I would request like their child's room or something.
Okay.
It depends upon what it's for. Usually what I do is I'm looking at what's there. I'm looking at what's not there. I had someone who didn't put in the windows, and I was just like, there's no windows in this room. And they're like, yeah, windows. That tells me a lot about what is going on. I had a client recently where she drew these 2 like wardrobe cabinets, and then when she sent me pictures, they're actually closets. So sometimes our perception, and she had them like side by side, but actually there's a wall between them and a TV. It's interesting to see what people include and what they omit in their floor plan. I think from now on I need to ask for pictures because sometimes it's not an accurate representation, but that's how we think of our space. Right. And so
it was really hard to draw my floor plan because I did it in Canva because I thought, like, for me, I'm a visual person, and it was easier to move boxes than to draw it and then erase it and draw it again, 100 times. So I did it in Canva. And I just kind of did it. And as I was like looking around doing the different things, I realized I don't really know the size that things are, so some things ended up really big and some things ended up really small. And then I ran out of space in different places that don't really run out of space, so it was kind of weird, like my brain does not concept the actual floor plan until I go to do that. I don't realize that.
And that's really interesting because that's very telling. Like when I look at somebody, and I think I should request, I think I should do this half the session and then request pictures. Because what you make big is usually what's important to you, or sometimes it's where the problem is. And what you make, like they everything has a significance. I had a client who she had a boarder living in the master bedroom, and then she created a bedroom over the garage. And I was like, why did you put yourself outside your house? Like you're literally, and also a bedroom or any space over a garage is not grounded. There's no grounding. So there's a cure that we have to put in place.
My bedroom's over my garage.
I did not know that.
Office. Oh, I did not know that mattered. But it is.
It does. So I will send you what's called a cure for that. So
okay.
So that
maybe I can make a note to remind you. I didn't realize that would matter.
It does. And so, and this is kind of like a learning experience for me, because sometimes I'm like, too much information can be overwhelming, but sometimes not enough is a problem. So I probably should have asked you for the floor plan of your home just to see where the bedroom is, because that I think that would have helped me.
Does it matter if it's in the front of the house or the back of the house or the side of the house? Like, does that kind of thing matter? Because
sometimes
my bedroom takes up the whole one corner of the house because it's the bedroom, bathroom, closet, you know, like it's the biggest part of the house because it's the master, you know. So I just wonder.
I would have to look at the entire floor plan, like, so just laying out where the rooms are.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, the different boxes.
Well, all the things that I did with you were amazing. So, like, I was really happy with our session because you told me things that I was not able to articulate about myself. Like, when you incorporated, like, the human design fascinates me to a level I can't even handle. I want to learn it so bad. But, like, I keep telling myself, you're a numerologist, stop yourself, you know enough. Like, stop going down every road because I don't need another modality. But I'm so fascinated with human design, and I just see myself learning it at some point because it's so amazing. Like, just learning that I was a manifesting generator a few years ago, that was all that I knew. And it was like when I first heard about human design, someone told me that, and I went, oh, wow, that's why I am the way I am. Like, I am someone who has to have multiple things going on all the time, or I feel like I'm not important, or like I don't matter, or I feel like life isn't worth living. But if I'm in some kind of chaos with, it's not even chaos, it's like productive chaos. It's like if I don't have balls in motion all around me, then I don't know what to do with myself. I feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, you know? So that helped me. And it also helped me realize why I take on so much and that it's okay. I used to think there was something wrong with me because I'm always taking on new things. And then you told me that I'm somebody, you said something like I'm somebody that makes dreams come true, not just my own dreams but other people's dreams. You said something like that, and I was like, oh my goodness, I do that. That is really my thing, for real. I do that. So yeah, it's just it really helped me. Like, it really helped me understand myself better, and it really helped me, like, accept myself more. Like, that's what your reading did, you know? So, or your session, or I don't know what you call it, if it's a reading or a session, but you know.
So those sessions were called a business genie session.
Okay.
And I was actually just pulling up your chart because I was curious.
Okay. Also, I want to answer some comments quick. So Suzanne says, I'm excited for this class. It gets more fun each class. I agree. I think the membership is just getting more and more fun as we go. I've loved all the things that we're doing. I just booked a whole bunch more experts this week, and I'm like so excited for the coming months now. Anyway, Lacey said, all I know about it is that I'm a manifesting generator. So you're just like me, and you're just like Elpida. We're both manifesting generators as well. And manifesting generator, I think, is the best one. But, but that's just my personal opinion. Well, I don't know anything about any of the other ones.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, we all have our place in the world. We all, you know, think of it like if everybody was a coach, like there'd be nobody to coach. Like we all need, like nobody, we all have our different specialties, right? Yeah. Like my oldest son is a generator, and he's just like, his energy is like so comforting. He's like, he wants to do things for me. He takes care of me. Like he just, they're the builders of the world, where the manifesting generators are more of like the advisors. And then you have the manifestors that are the architects. And sometimes you have architects that are trying to build stuff, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, why you do that? And there's a lot, and a lot of times when we go into human design, we talk about deconditioning things, or our conditioning. It's exactly what you said. Those things that we were told that was wrong with us. Yeah. Like for a manifestor, they were probably told that they were lazy. And even manifesting generators, because we are built to create efficiency, we create shortcuts. That's one of our biggest gifts. We're told that we're lazy. Actually, it doesn't come from a lazy place. It comes from, I want to find the fastest, most efficient way to do something.
I always say that, like, I mean, I talk about, numerology this way. And I always say that, like, the 7 is the innovator, which the 7 is a lot of the qualities of the manifesting generator. And I always say they're the innovator because they come in, they kind of evaluate everything and they restructure it to be better. Like, they make everything flow better and they make everything work better, Is that similar to what a manifesting generator would
That's
do?
exactly what a manifesting generator does. Exactly.
Yeah.
We all have our different gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all have our different gifts of how we do that. We don't all do the same thing, and we don't all do it in the same area of life.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what we do. And it's really interesting because I was trying to like think of a way to explain to you how these two modalities work together. For me, human design shows us our potential, our gifts. It also shows us some of our trauma because everything has a shadow. So, and then feng shui tells me where you are right now. Like it tells me where the clutter is. It tells me where like you're putting too much emphasis on things or not enough. It tells me where things are out of balance. So it's kind of like a snapshot of your mind actually.
Yeah.
And then
that's pretty awesome to combine it like that. That's really awesome. I like that idea. Yeah.
Thank you. And so part of it is when I'm telling you these things about your human design, it's really validating you. It's saying all those things that like, you're not the only person who said that to me, but like all those things that I was told was wrong about me, those are really my gifts.
Yeah.
Those are my gifts. And then with feng shui, it's like, well, I want to have more clients in my business. So, okay, let's go to the helpful people area because that's where that is. And let's put something there that represents that.
Yeah.
As a reflection of that intention. And one of the thing that we're going to be doing in the workshop is this ritual called the tracing of the 9 stars. So there's 9 areas in the Bagua, in the energy map.
Okay.
And
that is this. I know that's what it's called now.
Yes. And they
are. Hold it up while you're talking again.
And they actually don't. The order that they go in is not in a circle. They actually. That's why it's called the tracing of the 9 stars. Because when you do it, you're kind of like. So we go down at the bottom, which is career or life's purpose.
So that's that one.
That's one. Yep. Okay. Then we go up to wealth and prosperity. Over. That way, the other way.
I should just look at it. Wealth and prosperity. Fortunate blessings, would that be?
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Okay. Then we go down to family of origin. So these are our ancestors.
Okay. Is that one? Health and family?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. We go to career, then we go to 2 relationship. I'm sorry. I got it.
Relationship. I see that one.
Relationship. So this is a romantic relationship, but if you're talking about a business, because when we talk about a business, everything is a little different. So in a business, this would be partnerships.
Okay.
Then we go to 3, which is ancestors, but it's also legacy.
Okay. So where would that be?
So right under blessing.
Health and family?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's our ancestors and it's also our legacy.
Okay.
Then we go up to wealth, or fortune and blessings is the way that we talk about that. Then we go to the center, which is our health.
That one I got. That one I know where it is.
Then we go down to the yellow corner, which is helpful people and travel.
Okay.
So in a business, that's your clients.
Okay.
I actually it's so interesting because in one of these business genie sessions, one of the women wanted to be a speaker and we moved her desk to make it in more alignment of what she was looking for. And I'm like, what corner is that? And she's like, oh, that's helpful people and travel. And I'm like, you have a globe there. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, that's your placement. So
is
placement
that good or bad to have a globe there?
It was perfect because she wants to travel and be a speaker. So she already had it there. It was already there.
Okay.
And I find that a lot of times with my clients, they already have what they need. Like I've walked through people's houses and said, you need a square mirror over here. And they're like, I don't have it. And I go poking around their house and I find it. I'm like, yes, you do. Like sometimes they need to buy a thing or two, but usually they have everything they need.
It took me so long to find a mirror to put where you said to put it. I was like, I went to like 4 stores and I finally found one. And then I went to IKEA like a few weeks later and they had like as many as I wanted, for cheap. And I was like, oh man, but whatever.
That's okay.
I have it now. That's all that matters.
Well, and sometimes that's part of the process.
Yeah.
The synchronicities that happen along the way.
It was good. It was the first time I've been out at a store in like months. So like I only go grocery shopping at all if I go out, So it was good.
Awesome. I hear you. And then we go up to the next yellow one, which is children and creativity.
Okay, would that be
the other yellow
one? I see that one. Yep. Okay.
And then we go across to the other corner to self and wisdom. So down.
That one? Yeah.
Yep. And then we go up to the middle, which is the red, which is fame and reputation.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the 9 stars. That's the order we do it in. And in this ritual, it's a little more complicated than this. Yeah. I'm going to be sharing this ritual of how to activate all 9 areas at the same time, whether they want to do it in one session or they want to do it over 9 days. Right. And it's really, really powerful when you're looking to kind of reset your life. Like you feel like your life is kind of gotten boring, or you've accomplished the goals that you set out and you're ready for the next level. It's also a ritual you can do like on your birthday or like on New Year's Day. And I'm going to give directions on how to do it for personal life and also how to do it for a business, because it's slightly different because the areas are named a little differently.
Nice. Yeah. I'm so excited for it because it sounds so fun. And I think I like the name a lot. Like I liked when you told me the name, the 9 star. What is it called?
Tracing the 9 stars.
Tracing the 9 stars. It feels magical to me. I just like it, But yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. I love the idea that it's like a restart type thing for people, because I think we all need that, like we all get to this point where we're like, we know we need to change something, but we don't know what. And I would rather just go, all right, let's just change everything for a little bit, like let's just start again, So I like that idea.
Well, it's funny you say that because I'm creating some changes in my life and my business and in my personal life. And I keep saying, when I have this amount of money, when I have this amount of clients, then I can buy the house, then I can do this, that's bullshit. It really is. I don't know if we're allowed to swear. I don't.
Oh, you can swear all you want. Okay. I heard my head off. It's fine. Everyone knows how I am. So
okay, people are different on their lives and stuff. But yeah, it's total bullshit. Because sometimes, and I've seen this so many times in my life, and I do believe that, and correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody else is a different type. I think this is a manifesting generator efficiency thing. We tend to manifest things in bundles.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like you want to move, you want a new partner, you want a new job, and all of a sudden you get relocated and everything changes.
Yes.
And it's like the universe is like, okay, let me just wrap it up in a little bundle and give it to you. And it's happened to me. It's happened so many times.
That's how it happens in my life too. It's like, let's just go and start over all the way, like all of it. I've done that a lot of times. Suzanne says she needs that. And Lacey says she needs a restart too. I get that. I need that. Like so I do the same thing that you do. I always go, well, when I'm making more money, I'll do this. And I find myself doing this with every area of my life. Like, last week I was saying to my boyfriend and my best friend, okay, when I make more money, do you guys want to go on like a jungle trip, like a safari trip? Or like, when I make more money, do you guys want to do this, or like, just I'll be happy when, like, there's so many things. It's like, we'll do this when, instead of like, let's just figure out how to make a plan and do it right now. Like, let's figure out how to make a plan that we can make the money we need now to do the things we want to do and start planning it. I don't know. I feel like I'm always waiting for that thing,
Well, I was just peeking at your chart because I was like, I do that too. And it's funny because we both have it's called the pulse. It's the 214 line. It connects the heart to the sacral. And the 14 is dreams come true, vast resources. It can be called wealth as well. And 2 is receiving. And what happens is when you decide that you're going to do it, that's when the money comes in. So I know society tells us that we need to save for things, but someone who has this line, that's not how we operate. We operate kind of sort of backwards. It's like we decide and then the money comes in, right? And so every time we say, I'll do it when, we're actually just stalling ourselves when we're putting ourselves on hold. Where if you say, like one of the things I've been saying is like, I want a new laptop, and I keep like, it's not that fucking expensive.
I just told my sister the other day, I said, please have your husband's research laptops for me. I need one.
So, and that's part of it. Part of it's like, I don't really know what I want. So sometimes I'll say to my clients, like, go start doing the research now. Like I remember with my first husband, we were talking about buying a house, and he's like, we can't afford, we can't, like all the can'ts, right? And I said, well, the first step is to go see if we get pre-approved. Like, because if they say no, like, and they laugh at us, then we know that we got some work to do. And not only that, but because they want our business, they're going to be like, listen, you need to pay off this debt. You need to get your credit score, whatever, right? They want our business, right? And we went and we got approved for $250,000. And he's like, awesome. And we were both like, damn, these people are stupid. They're going to give us money.
They're going to trust us. What? That's what I think about people trusting me with like a house and stuff.
We were both shocked. And then I was just like, okay, next step, realtor. Like, and sometimes we do have to do the logical steps. Like the only way a house is going to fall on you is if you're the Wicked Witch of the West. Like, come on.
No, I am totally like that though, so I'm not a saver. I want to be, but I've never been like that. The most I've ever, well, I shouldn't even say the most I've ever had, but I'm just going to say like, I'm not good at saving. That's what I'm going to say. But I am really good at manifesting. So it's like, if I just say, I want something to happen and I declare that I mean it, like, it's not just, I want it someday, because if I say I want it someday, it's like, it'll never happen, but if I declare it, if I'm like, okay, we're doing this now, then I won't have the money for it, but I'll start agreeing to people. I'll be like, yeah, I can make that happen. I don't know how the hell I'm going to make it happen. I don't have any clue at all, but I just have to declare that I want it and then start agreeing to doing it. And then all of a sudden, it's like the money just comes, like I open some kind of floodgate. It just always comes. And it can be anything, like big or small. It doesn't matter. That opens the floodgate. I don't know why.
Okay. So do you mind if I share your chart? Can I do that?
Yeah. All of it.
Is that present?
Yeah, let me see. Present, yeah.
And
I'll just check if I get anything. Let me check the comments quick. So, Suzanne, you're looking at a house tomorrow. Yay, I'm so proud of you. I can't wait to hear all about it. And Lacey said, in our house, it's always when we retire. Yeah, that's the thinking that I want to change. I do that all the time. I'm always like, when this, when that, when this. We need to eliminate that. We need to go, I want this. How can I get there now? Okay. And hi, Michelle. I'm glad that you're here. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing?
Oh, let me add it to the thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
All right.
Yay.
So,
I don't know how to read it. I'm just like, yay, let's learn.
Yes. So I know we're talking about feng shui, but this will help.
Yeah.
So you actually have what's called the money line. So this 4521 is called the money line.
Somebody told me that, and I'm like, well, then where is the money?
Okay. So part of the reason that, so what I was talking about before, where you were like, oh, I just decide I want something and I receive it. That's the 214. This right here. Okay. It's black. So that means it's conscious. You do this.
Yes.
And so you do it deliberately. Okay.
Okay.
When
Yeah.
it's a red, it's unconscious. You don't always
Okay.
know that you're doing it. Okay.
Okay.
So the money line is the 45, which is actually the money steward. So when you say that you're not good at budgeting and saving, this line says that's not true. You can.
Oh.
You
Well,
just
let's
need to
see.
find your way of budgeting and managing
Okay.
money.
Well, I'll work on that then.
And then the 21 is the hunter gatherer. Sometimes it's called the queen energy. So
Okay.
this is like just shit finds you.
Oh yeah.
And so the point of the money line, and actually not the point of the money line, is the money line has this energy of just attracting things. And not only that, but people make money in your energy.
Yes.
So like when
I can just be near somebody and they will start having a flood of like opportunities come. Like I'll just go, have you ever thought about this? And I think I just shift their perspective slightly and all of a sudden something opens for them that they just get flooded with all kinds of stuff. And I just love that. Like I love
that's your money line.
that.
Actually, the client that I'm working with right now, she's actually I'm helping her with her marketing
Yeah.
because she has all these amazing things, but when you read her marketing, you have no idea what she's doing.
Yeah.
And she has the money line. I'm like, you need to be
Mhm.
focusing on programs that bring people money. And when we talked about it, she's like, yeah, people do seem to make money around me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so funny because when we look at the chart, she has one of the lines down here. I forgot which one it is, but she has this line of community.
Okay.
And so her way of marketing is to create a community, which she already has. I just need to show her how to expand the community.
Yeah.
For you, when you say that you can't market yourself, your human design chart says you have this 23, which is actually both defined and or conscious and unconscious. So the 23, because and I know this line very well because I have it. It's called the alchemical wordsmith. So that means you have a way with words. That's marketing.
I mean, I'm an incredible writer. If I could just like not be so overwhelmed with all the little tasks I have to do all the time, I'm an incredible writer and I automatic write a lot. Like I have my guides write through me a lot. So I know that I can write really dynamic stuff. I don't know. I just don't. I don't ever get time for it, but I need to make time. I have trouble with time. I have a very serious problem with time in my life. I've always been like that.
I'm sure that's in here somewhere. I'd have to look
I'm
it up.
sure that's in there. Yeah. Because I do not, time and me are not the same thing. Like we do not exist together well. So, but I do bend time really easily. I just don't understand time. It doesn't make sense to me. So
well, it's funny you say that you bend time because there's Karen Parker Curry is one of the human design people. She calls the manifesting generator the time bender.
Oh,
because
nice.
we create shortcuts.
Nice.
What do shortcuts do? They bend time, right?
Yeah.
And we also skip steps, which sometimes isn't a good thing. Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
It depends. Yeah. So
does it say anywhere that I'm a perfectionist? Because I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying not to be a perfectionist. Michelle says she loves Karen Parker Curry.
I do too.
Never heard of her. Oh, Michelle said, "Do you have are you? I don't know if she's talking to us or not, but do you have ADHD or ADD?" My kids keep telling me that I have ADD or ADHD because they have it, but I've never been told that I had it before. But I definitely have it right now. Oh, she's talking to me.
Okay, yeah. So I have something to say to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm not saying that ADD and ADHD is not a real thing. I do believe it's a real thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes, because I find that like when I watch those TikToks and they're like, "Oh, you have ADHD if you do this or whatever." Some of that stuff is manifesting generator stuff. Like we hyper focus. We get bored really easily. We're doing like 8. Like when you were talking about like having so many balls up in the air and you're constantly juggling stuff, because we have that sacral The sacral is like this it's like a rechargeable battery. And so the more we do things that light us up, the more that battery gets recharged. It's just an endless loop. And so we are like the Energizer Bunny. We can keep going. We need to pace ourselves, because eventually our body's like, I gotta stop.
I am somebody who, if you saw the amount of work I do in one night, you just would not believe it. Like, I do so much in one night that someone would take a whole week to do, but I'm also up until the sun comes up almost every night, but I'm running a whole business, and I'm running like 3 aspects of a business, just one person. So like, I have to do all of that, but yeah, my brain just is constantly like, okay, we're going to do this and this and this, and I'm just going to do it all together, and it works.
It does. And I'm the same way. But I'm also like, I have a couple other lines that are a little different than yours. So for me, like, I can go 24/7, not 365, but I could go 24/7 for like a chunk of time. And then I need a huge, like, I'm good if I work 3 days, and I mean 3 days, like 16-hour days, and then I have 4 days off. That's my best pattern.
Yeah, that would be my best pattern as well. I'm really good for a solid block of time. If I don't have any, like, if not any, but if I don't have a lot of distractions and I can just work solidly, I will forget to eat. I will forget to pee. Like, I just go and go and go. The only thing that has ever stopped, and sorry, I was going to say, and then at the end, I need a break, like a 2 or 3 day break sometimes.
Yes.
Where I do nothing but like Netflix. But the only thing that has ever stopped me is I got really sick in 2019, and my immune system became compromised. And then I got COVID a few times. And so the last few years, I've been actually scared, because never in my life have I not had energy and not had strength. And like, even this last year, there's a lot of times where I'm just begging my body to keep going for another hour or two, because I can't, my body wants to fail on me. But like, it's getting better. It's just that is the only thing that has ever stopped me, was my health. Other than that, nothing has ever broken my rhythm of like being able to do a million things, all the time,
No, and I hear you. And like, a big thing with the manifesting generator, especially that, like, we can go hard for 3 or 4 days, and then we need to rest hard for 3 or 4 days. Sometimes that's viewed as laziness. And it's that's just how I work. Well, like, you can't run a car for 24 hours a day and expect it not to run out of gas or need, a tune-up or whatever.
Well, and people don't understand that, because you don't function like other people, like, or at least I don't. I get my energy in the middle of the night. That's when my inspiration comes. It feels like I have muses all around me, because I'm just so inspired. And then I will work all night, and then I'll sleep during the day, and I don't start my day until the afternoon almost every day. And even my boyfriend now, a few years ago, I used to work nights when I did Uber, and I would sleep during the day because you make more money at night. Well, he would say, "You're so lazy." And I'm like, I'm lazy because I'm sleeping during the day while you're working, but I'm out at night working while you're sleeping. Like, all I'm doing is sleeping at a different time than you. I'm not lazy. Like, that doesn't mean I'm lazy. I am the furthest from lazy that you will ever meet in your life.
Right. And the whole 9 to 5, 5 days a week is a generator thing. That's how they're designed to work. They're slow and steady. They need that 9 to 5. The 5 days a week, that's a generator thing. And our whole world is based upon the generator type, because they're the most. There's the most of them. I forgot.
Well, and I respect that, because that gives us some kind of rhythm, because I wouldn't have any kind of rhythm if there weren't people doing that, So they keep me in line a little bit. So Michelle said she had that happen. She worked in a restaurant for 6 years and people acted like she was lazy for sleeping until 11. Yeah. I used to have a boyfriend that if I slept past 7 a.m., he would be jumping on the bed, acting like a crazy person, ripping down the curtains because I was lazy. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
dude.
no, and when I had my boys,
Yeah.
I worked at a restaurant, and I worked the
Yeah.
third shift. I worked the 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. every Saturday, and I made more money than most of those waitresses made during the week. Why am I going to
Yeah.
work 7 days a week when I make all
Well,
the money I need in one night? Like,
that's the whole thing that you're saying about the manifesting generator.
yeah,
It's like we find the shortcuts. We're like, I see
yeah,
where I can make the most money with the least amount of time and effort. And so I'm going to do that.
yeah.
I mean, I make more money than most people without trying. When I try, I could probably make a lot more, but like without trying, it's like I make good money. I run a whole
Well,
house by myself and I haven't worked a regular job since 2020. So
well, and I challenge you to shift that with trying.
yeah.
It's not even about trying; it's about being more deliberate.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that I work on with women is valuing themselves and their gifts.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that really helped me with this whole laziness shadow of being a manifesting generator is there's a Bill Gates quote out there, and I'm sure I'm just paraphrasing, but he's like, if you want something done really efficiently, find a lazy person to do it. And it's like at first it like bothers me. It
I
feels
was like, what does that mean?
Well, it
Like,
kind of feels offensive, but it's true.
yeah.
We create efficiency. We're not actually
Yeah.
lazy.
Oh,
And
true.
sometimes it is that it's like, okay, what's the fastest, quickest way to clean this toilet? Because I fucking hate cleaning toilets.
Yeah.
But that's not
True.
laziness. That's like, I don't want to do it. Like, there are certain
Well,
things that we don't want to do.
so I said to somebody maybe like a year ago, I don't even remember who, it might have been my mom or something. I was like, well, I want to get to a point where I can hire a housekeeper and I can hire a personal chef. And she's like, oh, you can't cook and clean for yourself? I said, no, I can, but it's a waste of my time. And I said, I don't have that kind of time. I would rather spend my time creating than doing those kinds of things. I want healthy meals just prepared that I can eat when I need to eat because I just need to recharge. I don't have time to make 3 hours of a meal every single day if I want to be healthy. And I was like, I just want to get to a point where I have a personal chef that just does that for me. And then when I want to cook, I will cook, because I love to cook. I just don't want to have to cook. And she's like, well, that's just being lazy in your life. And
No,
I'm like, no, that's not me being
no.
lazy. That's actually me being more creative. Like it's not wasting my creativity on things that don't matter. You
Right.
know?
Well, yeah, exactly. And it's really this concept of working in your zone of genius. And that's why I
Yeah.
use human design,
Yes.
because it's like, if your zone of genius, let's say, and I'm going to use a really weird example because it'll help illustrate, is being a neurosurgeon, and you make $1,000 an hour. Why would you clean your own toilet when you can hire someone and pay
Exactly.
them really well? Because even if
Yeah.
you're paying them $100 an hour, you're still making money. You're
Yes.
available to be a neurosurgeon at the $1,000
Yes.
mark. It's
Yes.
not. It's actually really helping. You're really supporting other people,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's part of the wealthy mindset. That's actually
Yeah.
your gate 14 saying, hey, like, I know what I need. I know how I need to be
Yeah.
supported in order for me to be who I am in the world.
Yeah.
And you're creating jobs for other people. And
Yeah.
also, like, that personal chef, they're gonna that's what they love to do. Like, at one point I had a cleaning lady, and
Mhm.
I loved it because she would come in and she would clean, and like, I didn't get caught up in the, like, because when I clean, I'm like, why is this here? And I'll go to another room and I'll take it, and then I get
No, see,
distracted.
that's where I say I'm ADD because I'll walk across the room to fix everything constantly and never get the task done.
Right. It could take me all day to clean the house because
Yeah.
I'm constantly distracted. And then
Yeah.
I'm cleaning out my closet. And then it's like 8 o'clock and my kids haven't eaten dinner. And like the place looks worse than it did when I started.
That is totally my life. Yeah.
Yeah. So my cleaning lady would come in and in an hour and a half, my entire house would sparkle. I would clean my desk because that was like, okay, they're cleaning. I should be cleaning, like body doubling, like they talk about in ADHD. And I also don't like people in my bedroom and I don't like people touching my desk because like that's my sacred space. And I got so much done. Right. And like she made money, I made money. Like it's just.
Well, okay, so something that changed my life is I don't know when I started doing this. This was years ago, okay? But I decided that I wouldn't do anything that didn't make me happy, okay? And that was like, obviously, you have to clean your house and cook your meals and things like that. But I just mean like, I wouldn't do anything like career-wise that didn't make me happy, you know? And it was amazing to look at everything that I had the option of and to say what actually makes me happy. Because when I do the work that makes me happy, it doesn't feel like I'm working and it doesn't feel like anything's wrong in my world. It feels like I'm getting energy from it rather than giving energy to it most of the time. And then I realized, wait a second, everybody's like this. So like there are people that love to cook. There are people that love to clean. There are people that love to organize. There are people that love to do all these little things. You're actually bringing joy to the world by staying in your zone of genius and doing what makes you happy and then hiring people to do what makes them happy, you know?
Yes.
That changed my life, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it's so funny because like sometimes I feel like I'm trying to go back to the like, 1800s or whatever where you had the blacksmith and you had the baker and you had the miller. But like
I like that though.
I do too. Like if we all stayed in our zone of genius and stopped trying to be a jack of all trades. And actually manifesting generators are really good at learning things really quickly. So sometimes we're not jack of all trades. We are masters of many things.
Yeah.
But sometimes we master things that don't matter to us.
Yes. I'm really good at 1,000 things. But what I really love and what fuels me is probably like 3 things. Like I love energy. I am fascinated with energy and how it works and all of those things. I could learn about that all day and experiment with it all day. I'm fascinated with numbers and like how people work and how people think and why they do what they do. Like I'm fascinated with that kind of stuff. So that's why numerology, I will never get bored of numerology. I've been doing it for almost 19 years and every single day I am learning more. Like, I mean, literally mind blowing learning more. Like not just like learning a new little trick. I'm learning a new concept all the time that blows my mind that I'm helping people change their lives with. So like just a little handful of things make you the happiest that you can be. Why would you not want to do that forever? I also like to create. So like you making these boxes, you should have seen me opening these boxes yesterday. I was sitting in here with so I'm calling Jessie my personal assistant now. She's my best friend and she works for me now. And she's been helping me with a whole bunch of things. And so she's at the table. I have this table in my office right now to make things because we're sending out a lot of packages right now. And then I'm sitting here opening these and I'm like, I love this girl. I love her. She speaks to my soul. like this is me. I create things like this. And I love doing things like this. And as I'm putting them together, I'm like picking out like the most special crystals and I'm like putting them in the bags and I go, oh, Jessie, these people are going to be so happy when they get these, because I love all of that. But if you just learn what those things are about yourself that you love, that light you up that way, you'll never work ever. Like you'll never, ever feel like you're working. You'll always feel like your whole life is just a party, and that's what it feels like doing my job. Like that's what it feels like.
And there's a couple of things I wanted to kind of comment on that. When you said that you you decided that you were just going to do things that light you up. That's your sacral. You're a sacral authority. And so am I. So when that, like, I can actually feel it in my sacral, my, like, it just
Yeah.
vibrates when I'm telling the truth, and like,
Yeah.
not like a Pinocchio thing, but like when I'm tapped into my truth, like I can feel it, like it just vibrates.
Yeah.
And it's totally true for a sacral authority. It's not true for everybody. Emotional authorities
Okay.
function differently. Lunar authorities function differently. Splenic authorities function differently. But for a sacral being, so you'd be a manifestor or manifesting, or not manifestor, a manifesting generator or generator. It is all about the thing that lights you up. And just like you said, it's that self-recharging battery. The more you do the things that light you up, the more lit up you get, and you just have endless energy.
Well,
although the body does say, hey, it's time to sleep. It's time to eat.
Yeah, my body will go, okay, calm down. Go to sleep.
Right. Exactly. And then I just wanted to say something about the boxes, and you did a little mini reading for me on one of your lives, and we talked a little bit about it more on a private call. But you said that, like, I need to make things with my hands that you know, some of my energy.
You have your hand chakras on because you must have a 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew this about myself, because I also I sew, I make things out of beads.
I love the little bag. Where's the little bag that you
That was for you.
Where did I put it? Oh, it's right here. I love the little bag. It's so cute. It's got cats on it.
I know. That's why I thought you'd love that.
Look how cute this is.
So that's one of my tarot bags. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. So this is another manifesting generator thing. Like, I was seeing all these tarot bags out there, and they're like bland, or they have like, and I'm like, no, there are people out there that don't want people to know those are tarot cards. They cat people. Like, I have tons of cat fabrics. My daughter loves foxes, so I have fox fabric. And it was just like, I started making them because I had all this leftover fabric. I made master in the pandemic, and I bought all this fabric. All this fabric was donated to me. And I was just like, okay, what am I going to do with it after, like, you know, everybody and their mother are making masks? And I started making these, and people love them. Yeah. They're just like, and I have like one of each. There's some that glow in the dark. Nice. And I've been saying for years, like, my coaching and consulting business really speaks to my intuition and part of my human design, which is the genius to freak line. It's a 4323. It's this way of seeing patterns in the world that other people don't see. And then the 23, which is the alchemical wordsmith, which is really having the ability to explain those patterns.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's why you can teach it.
What? Yeah.
That's why you can teach it.
Exactly. And that's why I'm good at marketing. I'm good at explaining this complex concept of feng shui, as in really it's a representation of what's going on within you. It's a reflection of what's going on within you. And when you change your environment, you change what's like, they're mirrors. You can change one and they affect each other. Yeah. But I've also said that the making of the physical products, there's something about it. Like, I need to work with my hands. Yeah. And when you told me that, it was just like, yes. Because I've had so many coaches that are like, Elpida, you need to pick something. This is
don't ever pick something. Like, so my best business advice that I give everybody, like, people ask me a lot now, like, how did I finally become successful in my business? Like, how did I start making it pay my bills and, you know, whatever. And what changed in my business was that I finally learned to be known for something. Okay. So when people are telling you pick something, that's all that I don't know what they mean, but that's all they should be saying. They should be saying, be known for something. So yes, be known. Like, I put Tammy Lopresti, numerologist. I want to be known as a numerologist, and I want numerology to be known as me. So when you think about numerology, I want you to think about me. When you think about me, I want you to think about numerology. Okay. That I want to be known for. Okay. So that would be my one thing. But then that's my umbrella for all my other things, you know, like, because there's no way that a manifesting generator can do one thing. There's no way. Like, if you tried to do one single thing, you would kill yourself. Like, you would hate your life. because you would feel so disempowered by that. Like it would become monotonous, and I don't like monotony. I'm sure you don't. I cannot, like, I've worked in a factory. I cannot literally stand on a line and do the same thing. I feel like killing myself when that happens. Like I feel like I'm in a prison, you know? So you have to do more than one thing. But it is important to be known for something. So like find that something. Like for when I think of you, I think of human design and feng shui because that's what I did with you when I met you, and you're so good at it. And so if there's a way to just make that equal your name and make your name equal that, I'm talking about like an energetic vibration, you know, um, that then you could build as your umbrella and put all your other things under it, you know, and that's what I do. And that's why it's working. At least that's what I think is happening, you know.
Well, there's that, and it's funny you say that because I think when you say that, I feel I think it was like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I would put music on and I would write these long blog posts and post them on Facebook. And I remember one day I was just so like in that zone of genius that like just writing really lights me up.
Yeah.
And I got this idea to register the domain Bring You to Light.
I like that.
And that's cool. I mean, I don't have anything on it, but like that's what I feel like I do. I bring people to light. I show them how to value themselves, and I show them how to put value out into the world and get paid for it. Because that's what it's about. Like we are so beautifully designed. I mean, the woman that I did a session for today, I was like, you could teach this and you could teach this and you could teach this. And she's like, I've done that. I've done that. I've done that. I'm like, okay, so you're bored, manifesting generator. She's bored. And I said, okay, let's go through, like, what are you struggling right now? And she's like, oh, the fear of failure. And I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. A lot of women in their business are so scared to put themselves out there because they're afraid of failure. And one of the things that came up for her is that she's afraid of, so we were doing what's called the compassion key session, which is a modality that I'm certified in. And I was just like, okay, so you're failing at being yourself because you're not letting yourself be yourself. And you're failing at being someone else because you can't be yourself. So you're really good at failing.
So you're creating failure.
You're creating failure. Like you're just like, and I'm like, and you're failing at failing because you're so good at those things. And I was just like, and she starts laughing. I'm like, isn't that the beautiful paradox of it?
Yeah.
And I said, what if you just stop being afraid of being yourself? Because you're not 5 anymore.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting because looking at her chart, I was just like, oh, wow, you have, you know, the gift of pre and post cognition. And she's like, how can you tell? I'm like, well, this thing and this thing. And she's like, yeah. And what was really interesting is that I actually saw her because I'm also clairvoyant she's like 4 or 5 years old. And she said something, and I didn't really catch what she actually said because she speaks a different language. But she predicted somebody's death. And her mother or grandmother or aunt, it was definitely a younger woman, it wasn't a grandmother, like scolded her for saying that. Like, don't say that. Like she was like actually manifesting it.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the person had either already died and they didn't know, or died a few days later. And she got in trouble for it. Imagine being 4 or 5 years old and being told that you spoke somebody's death into existence.
A lot of people are told that.
Yeah. She's actually a manifestor. She's not even a manifesting generator. And she closed up her throat. She stopped speaking.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because it's like, and it's so funny because like I had a similar experience. So I'm Greek, and occasionally I'll do a Greek coffee ground reading. And I did one for an aunt, and I said, you're pregnant. And she's like, that's not possible because, you know, your uncle and I haven't, you know, done that in a long time. I was just like, well, that's what I see. And she pulls me in a couple weeks later, or a week later, and she's like, how could you do this to me? And I'm like, excuse me?
What? How could you do that to her? How could you do that?
Right? And I was just like,
how dare you, Elpida?
Well, because we don't kill the messenger. That's what happens. A
I
lot of
mean,
people.
clearly you didn't make that happen.
No, I did not. If I could do that, I'd be making bank with, people
Oh
don't
yeah,
need IVF. They need Elpida, right?
you'd have a magic wand.
Exactly. But that's what happens is like she like at the time I was 17 and I was just like, that's your
Yeah,
problem. Like you need to
yeah,
figure that out, right?
yeah.
And I'm
Good.
sure there's family to this day that doesn't know what's going on, but it's like
Yeah,
but when we're told that at a very young age, we take it really personally and then
yeah,
that is like that becomes a fear.
yeah,
That becomes that whole careful what you wish for. Don't say that. Like, and as
yeah,
a manifestor, a manifesting generator, we do have the ability to do that. But I seriously doubt a 4-year-old actually said that. She was
yeah.
psychic and nobody knew it,
Yeah, well, that's the difference between growing up in a family that accepts that and growing up in a family that doesn't. I told my mom one time when I think I was like I don't know, I was probably 10 years old. I don't know how old I was. But we went to my grandfather's house and I said, Mom, you have to call, I'll just say this girl. You have to call this girl right now. And she was like, no, we're busy. We're visiting, whatever. I said, no, Mom, you have to call her right now. She's not okay. You have to call her. And so she did because she listened to me because I grew up in a spiritual household, and when she called, she couldn't get through. Well, she couldn't get through because they were calling the ambulance because she was being rushed to the hospital. She died right after that, and but I sensed it. Like, I don't know how, but I just knew that she wasn't okay in that moment and we had to go try to reach her. Someone had to help her. I don't know that we had to help her, but and then from then on, I was really lucky because my mom always believed that way. My dad didn't so much, but my mom did. And it was like she would encourage that. She would always be like, well, Tammy does know when things happen. And it was kind of like a reassurance for me then when I did start being really psychic. I started being really psychic in my teen years, and my mom was always the one saying, yes, she is really psychic. So I did that with my girls too, where I tried to encourage their abilities rather than discourage them. Because I think that it's really important that you don't have people blame you for the things that like you're just tapping into some higher picture. You're not creating the events that are happening. you know
Exactly.
so
Exactly. Well, and a lot of for me that's held me back is that
yeah,
my mom was into this stuff. She used to do
yeah,
coffee grounds and stuff. But
yeah,
I had and that's part of that 4323, and part of it is the sacral, like when it responds to something, we can't shut up sometimes. Like
yeah,
sometimes when
yeah.
you ask a sacral being answers, sometimes they're not going to stop until you stop asking questions. um
I have that problem.
and a lot of times what I would do is my parents' friends would come over and I would hear something, and like my brain would, my psychic ability and my brain would connect dots, and I would open my mouth, insert foot, and say something. And I was told, you don't know what you're talking about. And with someone with an open center, an open head center, I did not know what I was talking about, but it didn't
Yeah,
mean that it wasn't true. Like
yeah,
like you said, I was picking up something, but
yeah,
I I wasn't old enough to understand what that meant. And it
yeah,
took me years. I actually did a coffee ground reading for a coworker, and he was Ecuadorian, so a little bit darker skin than mine. And we're sitting there in the kitchen and I'm doing this coffee ground reading for him. And I said, do you have a second family in Ecuador, like a second wife and kids?
oh
And
my goodness.
he turned whiter than me, and he's like, Elpida, you don't know what you're talking about, this stuff is bullshit, and he walked away. And I was like, motherfucker, oh my God. And that was when it clicked.
Yeah,
I was like about 22 years old, and I was just like, that's why people say that, because
yes,
I just figured out their deep dark secret. And
yes,
of course they're like embarrassed, they're not going to admit
yes.
that.
Well, I do relationship readings, and I do them at vendor events sometimes. Well, whenever I do vendor events, and I have people come to me and I will tell both of them. I'll be like, just so you know, when I enter your energy field, I'm going to know if you're cheating on each other. So decide if you want this reading based on that, because I'm not going to lie. Like, if you sit down with me, I'm going to tell you the truth about your numbers, and I'm going to tell you the truth about the things that I see or feel or hear or whatever. And I had this guy that sat down with me thinking, oh, this is probably bullshit that she's telling me this, That's what he must have thought. And I looked at him. I was so mad at him. Like, I looked at him and I was like, I told you that I would know. And he's like, what? And he acted like I was crazy. And I looked at him and I said, do you want to tell her something? And he's like, no, that's crazy. And I was like, okay, well, he has a problem with being faithful. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what else to say. She ended up getting up. He ended up getting up. Like, they were mad. She was mad at him. He was mad at me. It was a big thing. But I told them before they sat down, I'm like, I will not lie for you. If you're cheating on her, I'm going to tell her. You're sitting with me for a relationship reading. I'm going to tell her if you're being unfaithful or deceitful. So anyway, I don't know what happened with them, but that's what happened.
I have a similar story. So when I used to do tarot, I used to do it at this metaphysical store, and I had two best friends that came in, and I said, listen, if you have any secrets, I would not recommend sitting in on each other's readings, right? And they're like, no, we don't have any secrets. Oh, yes, they did. One was, screwing with the other one's boyfriend, and it was just a cat fight, and I was just like, you need to go. Like, you know what I mean? I did have a pair of sisters that used to come in, and it was so funny because they would come in once a year and they would sit in on each other's readings, and they would play. The sister that was like sitting in would be like, I told you so to the other one. And they didn't have secrets. They just it was a really cute relationship that they had. And it's so funny because the last reading I did for them before this store closed was the first time I actually had clear guffs of scent. So I actually tasted lime.
Oh, wow.
And I was just, she's like, or I think it was a lemon. I tasted a lemon, and I was just like, she's like, what does that mean? I'm like, and she wanted to know about her man, her special man. And she didn't have anybody in her life. She wanted to manifest a man. And I was just like, I don't know. He could be, he could sell lemons at the grocery store, or he could love Coronas, or he could love margaritas or tequila. I don't know what it means, right? He could be a used car salesman and sell
lemons. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And it's so funny because the store closed and I never heard from them. So I have no idea what it meant.
I hate that. Don't you hate that?
I do.
I know.
And it's funny because when I used to do Greek coffee ground readings, I would always be like, listen, the symbol's the most important thing. It's not my interpretation, because sometimes my interpretation could be off.
Yeah.
And I actually did one for a friend of mine that we went to high school with, and I saw him taking a trip out west, and I saw pandas and zebras, and there was a third animal, but anyway. And he's Vietnamese, so I was just like, well, I mean, usually, they'll fly to LA and then they'll fly into Asia, right? And I said, could that be? And he's like, no, that's 2 years from now. And I'm like, no, this is Christmas, like after Christmas. And he's like, well, I don't know anything. He's like, Elpie, that's what he used to call me, Elpie, this stuff doesn't work, because we traded. He traded me a massage for a coffee ground reading. And I was just like, whatever. Calls me 2 weeks later and he's like, you are crazy. And I'm like, why? He's like, my sister is moving to San Diego and with my mom. And he's like, you saw the San Diego Zoo, because that was the only place around here that had pandas. And I was just like, so sometimes we don't know what we know, right?
Well, I never know what my visions mean. Like, I will see visions and to me, they look crazy, but I'll say it to someone and they'll know exactly what I'm talking about usually. And I'll be like, really? Yeah. Like, I told this one guy, I said, I see an island and I see you on that island and you're feeding people. And I'm like, I don't know why you're doing this, but you're like signing up to do it. Like, you're helping people that need help. And anyway, he told me that he was like from the Philippines and that, I don't know, he said he could see himself doing work like that. But I thought it was so weird because, like, to me, I don't know what I'm even seeing. I'm just like saying it as I'm seeing it. And I'm like telling him this whole thing that I think sounds absurd. And he's like, oh, no, that makes total sense. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know? Another guy, I saw that I said, are you okay with me talking about whatever I see? And he's like, yeah. And I said, okay, it might sound offensive. And he's like, okay. And I said, you know that drug cartel guy that's really famous? I forget his name, but he's a real famous like drug cartel guy. I don't think he's alive anymore, but I keep thinking of his name, but I can't remember. Anyway, I was like, I'm seeing you as him. And he's like, what? And I said, it's like you're running a drug cartel, but it might not be drugs, but it's still illegal. And he just looked at me and he's like this, you know. And then like the people with him, like he had like his cousin and the cousin's wife with him. They are going, holy shit, how do you know that? They did something with cars, you know, like I don't know what, but it was illegal. And he was like Pablo Escobar, that's who I was seeing. He was like the leader of it, whatever it was. And he made a ton of money, and he had like all these people that they were like a gang almost, is what I was seeing. And he was like the leader of them. And oh my goodness, like I thought I was being crazy saying any of this, and they were verifying all of it. They're like, it's so true. And I was telling him like where he lived and what he does there and his relationship with his mom and his relationships, like period, like what kind of relationships he has and all that. Anyway, like I'm sitting there telling him all this and I'm like, I am so sorry, you know. And then his cousin or whoever was with him, they were like, hey, could we get a reading too? I was like, yeah. So I told them all kinds of stuff too, but I could not believe that. Like, you would never know it. I mean, he looked like he was, you know, he did look like that. It was just, I mean, if you thought that, you would think he does look like he fit that profile. You know, he was very charismatic, very good looking, dressed really nice, you know, and you could tell he was somebody, but you would have probably assumed that he was like a celebrity or he was like the owner of a few businesses or something. You wouldn't think that he was like running some kind of illegal something, you know. So, but it was really cool and kind of a little weird and scary. So, but
True, but every time we trust that intuition and we don't judge it, we're valuing our gifts, and we create this magnetism with our sacral because we're speaking our truth, because it's the truth. And it's like, and I know for me, like I have one of my gates is the storyteller gate. So like I share my wisdom through stories.
I must have that.
You don't, but there's other things that it could come from, because it's the 56 and you don't have the 56. But for you, it could be that that's how you were raised. So, you know, there's the stuff that like we're taught, and then the things that you see in your human design are your natural gifts and talents. These are the Mozart abilities, right? These are the things that just come naturally to us. We don't have to learn them. We don't have to, sometimes we have to become conscious of them and become deliberate.
Yeah.
So like in my marketing, I use storytelling.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And people really get it, because when you give them an example, it's just like, it speaks to people. But when I was doing tarot, like you said, sometimes I start sharing stories and I'm like, why the fuck am I sharing this?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, this person must think that all I want to do is talk about my life, and then I just want to talk about me. And then I'd finish telling the story and they're like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. I got so much out of that story. And it's like, you start to trust that this is the way that you communicate. This is the way you market.
Well, I used to think that was wrong. So I do the same thing. I'll be in a reading and I'll start telling stories about my life. And I'll sit there and I'll go, why am I telling them things that I haven't even thought about in 20 years? You know, I'll be telling them something completely random that I feel is random. And they'll go, that is exactly what I'm going through. That is exactly what I needed to hear and understand. And then I finally started asking my guides, I said, are you doing that on purpose to like get me to open them up or something? And my guides are like, exactly. That's what they're doing. They're connecting me to my stories to connect them to their truths and open them up and help them, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
And that's probably exactly what you're doing too, you know?
Yeah. And it's
So,
a great way to market yourself. And it's a great way to
yeah.
illustrate points in your business, because sometimes we tell somebody something and they just don't, I don't want to say they don't get it, but like,
Yeah.
a lot of what happens in coaching is this
Yeah.
concept that I call lost in translation. Like we tell
Yeah.
somebody to do something and they think they know what we said, but they
Yeah.
don't. So I use
Yeah.
examples.
Yeah.
And actually one of the things that came out of sessions like yours was one
Mm-hmm.
of my gifts. And I never looked at it as a gift, and I'm like, damn it, it is a gift. Is I love to make checklists. Like I made checklists for my boys when we go to the
Oh,
beach. They
yeah,
make
me too.
checklists for what they. So when I say pack your bag, there is no confusion. You
Oh,
have a
yeah.
list. That's it. Check this shit off.
I have checklists for everything
Yeah,
like that too. Yeah.
exactly. And that's a gift. Not everybody has the ability to do that. And I
Yeah.
found that when I started doing the Business Genie sessions and I started doing checklists, like the client that I'm working with right now, we're working on some of her copy. And I was just like, you need to do this, you need to do this. Like, and these are, it's not me telling her what to do. It's the things that we agreed upon, right? Like I'll create a
Yeah.
list for her and a list for me after our sessions. And it creates that accountability.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like,
Yeah.
I started to value that because she's like, I love the list. And I put them in order of priority. So there's no question as to what she needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's
I always,
logical.
I always create checklists whenever I buy someone's course. Like I will go through the whole course initially and I will make a checklist of how many modules there are, how many tests there are, how many whatever, and I will make a checklist so that to me it feels like I'm accomplishing something even if they're not checking me, I'm checking. Like I don't ever care about other people checking me, but I mean like it's like even if they're not keeping track that I'm doing it all, it's like I know how much more I have to go. For some reason that makes my brain process what I'm learning better. You know, it's
No,
just it keeps me accountable to it or something, you know.
no, and that's a
So
great idea because then
yeah.
you create that responsibility for yourself. Like my
Yeah.
kids have chores and I'm like, you need to figure out a system of managing your chores. Like I love
Yeah.
the checklist.
Yeah.
I have like checklists everywhere.
Me too.
I have Trello.
I have
I
checklists
have,
all around me.
yeah, yeah. So, and sometimes the other thing, like what we talked about, just to kind of tie it back to something when we talked about
Yeah.
ADHD and being distracted,
Yeah.
sometimes I find that when I get an idea, like I'm doing something and all of a sudden I'll get an idea. If I go down the idea rabbit hole, I get distracted. And then like hours later, it's like, what was I doing? So what I started doing is started putting all those little, even if you think it's only going to take you 30 seconds to Google something, it does
Yeah.
not. Because as soon as I pick up that phone, I'm checking my email, I'm checking my Facebook, I'm checking this, I'm checking that. And then I'm like, what was I doing? So I started putting these little things on my to-do list.
Yeah.
And it's like, because that thing is more exciting to my sacral than what probably I'm doing, and it's looking for a distraction. And like a lot of times I
Yes.
have to like be like, no, come back here, like a little kid, sit
Yes.
down, come.
I know. Well, I just did that to myself this morning when I was working. I had like 15 tabs open. I'm working on a survey, like the expert survey is what I created last night. I'm working on that and it's going great. I'm in this great flow, making it work and all this stuff. And then I have a random thought. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't create that graphic for that email. And I was like, ooh, let me just do that quick. That'll take 2 seconds. So I literally went out of the one thing into Canva, did the graphic, came back, and then I was like, oh, I start the survey again, and I'm like, oh, I really should insert that into that email. I go back, I'm like, stop it. Just focus. Focus on one thing. Complete that thing and then focus on the next thing and complete that thing. But I can't do that. You know?
Okay, so that is totally a manifesting generator thing.
Yeah.
And it is our sacral saying, ooh, pretty shiny. It is looking for a
That's what we
dopamine
call
hit.
it.
Yeah. So sometimes the thing that works is writing the stuff down and
Yeah.
not letting yourself get sidetracked.
Yes.
And sometimes for me, I find that when I'm procrastinating on something,
Yeah.
either I'm hungry or I'm tired or I have to pee, or it's time to take a break.
Yes.
Like my brain is burnt and it's time to take a break.
Well, that starts happening to me at around maybe like 4 or 5 a.m. I start getting really like distracted by thoughts or things or other things, or I want to watch a video on something that pops up on my feed or something. I'm like, what am I doing? Anyway, I should read some of these comments. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
So Karen said, what do you think of someone telling a kid, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all? Would that close your throat chakra? Absolutely, that closes your throat chakra.
Yes.
If that kid buys into it, you know.
Yes. So this is where it's kind of like, and as a mom, I'm not a child psychologist, but as a mom, sometimes we have to kind of redirect. So it kind of like, it's like, instead of telling your kid don't run and they just hear run, it's saying, please walk. So instead of saying, like the other phrase that, so I homeschool, but when my kids were in school and they were in a magnet school, so like I'm expecting higher levels of standard, and they say, you get what you get and you don't get upset. And I was like, oh no, you didn't. Like, you have every right to be upset. We don't call people names when we get upset. We don't hit people. We don't hurt people. It's okay to get upset.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like they don't want to deal with teaching children emotional management, how to manage their emotions.
I was just gonna say that all I've ever cared about is emotional regulation.
Yes.
So like with my kids, and I don't know how long I've realized this, but whenever it did click, because it wasn't always, I started telling my kids, because I have 3 daughters, and daughters are super dramatic and emotional. I started telling them, it is your job to manage how you feel about something that someone else is doing. It is their job to be doing whatever they're doing. You have to separate yourself from what is happening. Your drama that you create around how you feel about something that's happening is unnecessary.
Right.
Like I don't tell people to shut up, but I do tell people that their emotions are theirs to manage. I'll just give you an example. Okay. And this is something my daughter still will not agree with ever, even if I bring it up right now. She said to me, I don't know if she would like me saying this, but I don't care. She said to, I'm like thinking, should I say this? But yeah, it's fine. She said she doesn't like that I still talk to people on Facebook. Like, I still have friends on Facebook that are like her exes. Okay. And like, she's like, well, my boyfriend doesn't like that. It makes him uncomfortable. And I said, okay, well, I don't have any problem with your exes. Like, you didn't date terrible people, like they became part of our family, and I don't talk to them, but they're on my Facebook. I'm not going to remove them because that makes someone uncomfortable. That person that's uncomfortable needs to learn how to manage their emotions. Like, if they're uncomfortable, they need to look at why they're uncomfortable, because that is not a threat to them just because your mother has them on Facebook. That has nothing to do with them, and I tried to, like, she got really mad at me and she said I was totally wrong and I should change it. And I was like, no, the thing is, like, you're going to have triggers all over the place that make you upset. You're going to have things that make you upset. That is your job to learn how to manage those things and still live in the world. So he's going to have to learn how not to feel threatened that someone else is talking to someone that he doesn't like. Like, that doesn't actually affect him, and so I think for me, I had to do that myself, where you have all these people that you might not get along with, or whatever, and other people that you care about do get along with them, and maybe they hurt you or maybe they did something to you. The thing is, you can't ask your friends and family to stop talking to every person that ever hurt your feelings or did something wrong to you. But what you can do is you can say, I will not talk to that person, and I also will not take my emotions and put that on them for loving who they love or caring about who they care about, you know? I think emotional regulation is really, really important.
Yes.
And I think that learning emotional regulation should be a subject that every person learns. And I will also say, just because I posted about this today, the master at teaching emotional regulation is Tony Robbins. And I will tell you, if I learned nothing else from him, that is what changed my life. Is that he taught me how to be happy no matter what happens, how to connect back to who I really am and what really matters to me, and not let anything else stomp on that, you know, and that is emotional regulation, you know. So
Exactly.
I always tell everybody that that will change their life, is just emotional regulation, just learning that.
Oh,
You know?
and that's huge. I just want to kind of get back to the whole anything nice. It's not
Yeah.
about not saying something nice. It's
Yeah.
about, you know, I think it's a bigger picture. Like I
Yeah.
think there's context here that we're missing, Karen, because sometimes
Yeah.
like um it's teaching them that whatever somebody else says does not mean, I don't want to say it doesn't mean anything, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything. That's their beliefs. That's their projections. That's even going back to the whole when, you know, my parents would say, you don't know what you're talking about. That was their way of like shutting me down and saying, you know, we're uncomfortable with what you're saying and, you know, we're going to shut you down. And it took me a long time to get over that and to realize that that's what was going on. It wasn't that I didn't know what I was talking about. I'm just the messenger. I'm not supposed to know what I'm talking about when I'm channeling shit. That's not my job.
Yeah.
I'm like the post office. I'm not supposed to know what's in your letter. Like I'm just supposed to deliver the message, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a judgment. But when we say like don't, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all, that teaches them that they're, what they believe and what they think doesn't matter. And it
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's a bigger conversation of like there are ways to tell people that they're an asshole without saying that they're an asshole. Sometimes we just need to just call an asshole an asshole. Like, you know what I mean? And I know it's not in a kid, but like even with my boys, I'm like, you're not going to call each other names.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like my youngest son, when he gets mad because his older brother doesn't do what he wants, he calls him an idiot. And it's like, he's
Mm-hmm.
not an idiot. And that's his way of like creating distance because he is struggling with emotional regulation. Right.
Yeah.
So um they're learning. And for me, with especially with boys, it's like, well, with both, it's teaching boys that anger is okay, but that's not your primary emotion, because that's what
Mm-hmm.
men have been taught. That's the only emotion that they're allowed to show is anger, right?
Yeah.
And also for my daughter, it was really important to let her have her voice. And sometimes when she said something, it sounded disrespectful. It felt disrespectful, but I'd rather teach her to I'd rather her not put out her fire and have her be rude and disrespectful when she feels that her boundaries have been violated than teach her to protect herself.
Yeah.
Right? Like I remember when she was going through like that, you know, puberty, right? And she was developing and she's like, "Mom, I don't like you hugging me. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be touched."
Yeah.
I was like, "But I'm your mom." And she's like, and she's a projector. I need to learn more about projectors, but um she said to me point blank, and my husband, who's her stepfather, was like, that was really disrespectful. And I was just like, yes, but I'm so, it's one of those moments that like you don't know if you want to smack them or you want to pat yourself on the back because you raised them right. And
So
she
you're
said,
proud of her to use her voice.
yeah. She said, Mom, you can't tell me it's my body and nobody can touch it without my permission, and then tell me that you have the right to touch it without my permission because you're my mom. And I was just
That's
like,
right.
holy fuck.
That's
It
right.
is.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, that
Yeah.
is so fucking rude. But I'm so proud of myself for teaching her that because she's right.
Mm-hmm.
Because 9 times out of 10, those Me Too moments are someone you know,
Well,
right?
and you're so proud of her for using her voice in a way to protect her own body, you know, like you hope that she
Thanks,
applies
Michelle.
that everywhere, you know? Bye, Michelle. I'm glad that you were here. Sorry I didn't like pay attention to the comments a lot, but I
I
got
didn't even know we had comments, and I just found it. I
oh
was like, where are you seeing
okay.
this stuff? But yeah, it's like
Um,
sometimes it is. They can learn how to um I think it's more important that we teach them to express themselves freely than to be
yeah.
nice. And I know that sounds
Well, I think
bad.
it's important to teach them, like, first of all, like, I mean, obviously, don't tell somebody to ever shut up for any
Right.
reason. Like, you don't tell people to shut up. You tell people to redirect, like, you redirect them. Like, you tell them how to say it better or how to do it better. You know, you're always trying to guide, you're not trying to shut down. Um, but like, I was taught do unto others the way that you would want them to do to you, or however that goes. Like, my dad would say that my whole life. I remember it when I was little, but he would say it to me today if I talked to him. You know, it's always, how would that person feel if you said that to them or did that to them? Put yourself in their shoes and see
Right.
how that would feel. So it's not just about saying don't say anything, mean. You want to stop your kid from being a bully. Teach your kid how to look at the world through someone else's eyes, so they don't want to be the bully, they don't want to say the mean thing, they don't want to hurt anybody because they wouldn't want to be hurt themselves. And then that's the best way to teach your kid, I think.
No, I
um
agree. And sometimes when you can't say something nice, or the other person, you're trying to be nice and you're trying to maintain your boundaries, and that
yeah.
person isn't listening and violating your boundaries, sometimes it's like exit stage left. You need to leave the
Oh
situation.
yeah. I
Because
I
some
have
people,
learned to just get up and walk away,
right,
like when I'm being attacked, or when people don't know when to be nice, or like, I will try to say something nice back, or I will try to hold my tongue and not say something mean, but I really found that walking away is the best thing that I've done, is just walk away when somebody does not know how to be nice, and
right.
kind.
And sometimes somebody needs that tough love of like telling them the truth, and it's not going to be
Mhm.
nice. And
Yeah.
sometimes we're afraid to speak up because we have been told if you can't say something nice, don't say something at all.
But it's
Like,
not really good information. It's not really a good lesson. Like, sure, you don't want to say anything mean, and you shouldn't, but like, you still should say the truth. And sometimes the truth isn't nice. So, you
right.
know,
You can't
but
handle the truth.
you
Right.
just have to learn how to say it the right way. But anyway, this is going really long. So we should go back to what we were here for. So let's talk about, the membership a little bit and what you're going to be doing this month. And, just kind of, then we'll wrap it up. Just because it's been so long.
Oh,
Karen, I
my
love
pleasure,
you.
Karen.
um, so basically, this month in the membership, Elpida is going to be teaching a class. I forget what it's called again. The only thing I remember is the 9 stars.
Tracing of the 9 stars.
Okay, it's feng shui, and it is tracing of the 9 stars. And when she comes in, she's going, like, it's a 9-day practice. Is that what you're teaching? Is that what you said you're teaching?
It's a ritual for setting
Okay.
intentions or goals in either you could do it for your life or you could do it for your business. If you're going to
Okay.
do both, I recommend that you do them 9 days apart. And
Okay.
traditionally, this ritual is done um, all in one day. Like you do it, it's a
Okay.
like you
Okay.
could you start with decluttering and cleaning the space,
Yeah.
and then when you go to do the ritual, it's all done in one space or
Yeah.
one period of time.
Yeah.
You go from one area to the other and you set your intentions and you place your crystal and you do the whole ritual. I'm actually experimenting. I've been meaning to do it, but I haven't started yet, to do it over a 9 day period, because nine is a magical number in
Oh
feng
yeah.
shui.
Nine's a good number.
Right. And I have this theory that if you do it over 9 days, that the shifts that you're going to experience are going to be a little more profound. because you're taking, so I'm going to teach both. And I'm also going to teach a little bit about what each area means, how to use it in your personal life, how to use it in your business. We'll talk a little bit about the elements and the colors. Like, it's a great little ritual that as I walk you through the ritual and I explain it, you'll learn so much stuff about feng shui in this is how you use it. Instead of teaching you theory, I'm teaching you practical stuff. And then you'll get a printout of each of the rituals, the business and the personal. And then you can go do it in your own home and use the crystals.
Well, and I want to get with you to create some graphics for the membership group, so that we do like the 9 days, like where I'll just space them out, day 1, day 2, day 3, if they want to do it over the 9-day period, you know.
I love
that. So we'll do that. We'll talk about that. And okay, so, and also in the membership this month, we're doing the crystal grids. So if you end up ordering the add-on kit, if you're in the spiritual membership, or if you want to join the spiritual membership, you're welcome to. I'll put a link in here. But if you buy the add-on this month.
Oh, thank you, Lacey. Sorry.
Lacey's amazing. I love her. So the kit this month comes with this box that Elpida created, with all the things that you will need for the feng shui class. It also comes with, you're going to get all the things. Sorry. Hang on. I have to get, there's a lot of things. Okay. So you'll also get all the things this month to create crystal grids, because we're going to do the crystal grid workshop. So you're going to get all the crystal grids, like there's 6 of them. You'll also get a whole bunch of crystals that go with them, like a generator and some little crystals and stuff and some shells. You'll also get these little jars with crystals, you know, so that you can create all your crystal grids. And then you'll get like this little checklist that will tell you everything that's in your box. And then you'll be able to look up the meanings of all the crystals so that you can set your intentions for your crystal grids and all that. So anyway, that is what's going on in the membership this month. We're going to start doing these interviews once a month with whatever expert we have. And I will always be showing you whatever's in the box of the month or whatever the add-on is. Sometimes it's digital, sometimes it's physical. Lately, we've been doing a lot of physical stuff. But anyway, so I definitely encourage you, if you're into this kind of thing, to please join us in the membership. Elpida's class is going to be at the end of the month. It'll be the last Tuesday of the month, whatever day that is. I don't know. Let me see. It'll be the 25th. And next week so we do things in the membership every Tuesday. So the first Tuesday of the month, we always do the training. This month was crystals and how to work with them. I taught how to cleanse them and how to program them. This Tuesday, we obviously did the interview with the expert to learn about her and to understand what she's going to be doing this month. And then next week on Tuesday, we do the workshop, which is crystal grids. We're going to make crystal grids together and learn how to use them and why to use them. And then the last Tuesday, which is the 25th, we're going to have Elpida come in and teach us this exercise, what did you call it? A ritual?
Yes.
She's going to teach us the ritual of the feng shui of the 9 stars.
Placing of the 9 stars.
Placing of the 9 stars. I'm going to write it in front of me so I remember how to say it.
It's really interesting because I just realized when you were talking about the crystal grids, you're actually turning your bedroom into a crystal grid by placing a crystal in each of these areas. I was just like, that's really cool. So
look, you coming in this month must be by some kind of divine design, you know, because doesn't that fit perfectly with what we're doing? You know,
it does.
Like, that's amazing. Okay, so that's awesome. Anyway, so, and then next month in the group, we're doing forgiveness. We're making an apocalypse, which is like a really cool version of a bucket list. And we're having Lori Lines come in. So you'll learn all about what she's going to do in her session next month. And that is really all. So I'm glad that we got to talk to you, Elpida. This was amazing. I'm really glad that
Thank
we.
you. And I just wanted to share that I do have a couple offers. I'll
Oh
post
yeah,
them.
talk about your offers. Yes.
Okay, so the Business Genie is no longer available because people are getting such amazing results that, and I'm also seeing that people need help with their marketing.
Yeah.
But what I do have is, and I'll put the PDF in the Facebook group. It's just a PDF for right now because
Yeah, it's fine.
still a work in progress. So the first thing is called Monetize Your Magic. So this is where it's kind of like what I did with Tammy, where I look at your human design, I look at your feng shui, and then what is something that you are struggling with in your business. It could be something you want to create in your business, like you want to be a speaker, or you want more clients, or whatever it is. And it's actually it's a Zoom, it's a recorded Zoom, where I walk you through the different things and I give you a checklist of the things that you do. So it's not a one-on-one session. It's a recording. It's kind of like a business audit. So that's $188. And that's just for the next month for you guys. Tammy will tell, this is like
special pricing just for us, guys.
Yes. And it's pretty much exactly what Tammy and I did, but I just record the whole thing, so it goes much, much quicker instead of
say it would last a lot less time probably, which is good.
It does. And you'll get a checklist of the things that you do, and then you can always ask a couple questions. I'm always, if you're going to ask me questions, then yes, you could definitely manifest Rolling Stone tickets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Manifestors and manifesting generators can just speak things into existence. We have that gift. And you can do it if you don't want to focus on your business, we can do it in your personal life. So if you have a personal goal that you want to create, whether it's buying a house or finding a partner, we can do it around that. And then I have another one that's called Market Your Genius. So this is a 90-minute strategy session where it is business coaching and strategy. It is human design and feng shui, because I always bring those in. They really do help kind of round out the picture. And then what we do is we do a 45-minute working session where we sit there and we brainstorm basically your offer. Like if there's a product or service in your business that you're like, this is really amazing, why aren't people buying this? It might be adjusting the price. It might be a lot of times it's adjusting the marketing. A lot of times people don't talk about the outcome. Like, why is this important?
Yeah.
Like I had the woman today. It's like, okay, she really does help people with the fear of failure. And she's like, okay, but who's going to buy that? I'm like,
everybody.
Yeah. You just have to show them
we all struggle with that. So everybody.
Yeah. Right. But when you market it, you're like, okay, if you have a fear of failure, you're not showing up and marketing your business. You're not consistent. Yeah. You're not speaking up and getting the sale. This is like, we have to talk about the intangible and the tangible. So that's one of the things that I really help.
Totally speak about that. Like you could, if you just shift the perspective a little bit for her, you could totally teach her how to speak about that. So do you actually write the copy for people or help them write it? Is that part of what you do? Okay.
That's the Market Your Genius, where we decide in that first session, in the strategy session. I'm actually working with a client right now. We decide what it is you need. So usually I'm redoing your copy on your webpage. If you have a webpage, creating some social media posts for you. The client that I'm working on right now, she has a freebie on her website. She has this amazing little activation. And I'm like, okay, we need to edit that, because she's like talking a lot in the beginning. And I'm like, no talking. Just the activation. Like and it's sometimes it's like, because I am a customer, I'm also a client. Like if you remember those the Rogaine commercials.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. Because I'm also a customer, I'm like, when I get a meditation, I don't want to hear that your dog ran away in 6th grade.
No, you just want the meditation.
Right. Yeah. Right. Tell me, this is the whatever activation get comfortable, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and go into the meditation.
Yes,
So like that was some of the feedback that I gave her. I was just like, let's edit all that and put it as copy at the beginning. And then I also said to her, because she just created a special activate. She does this thing where she creates these little vortexes because she has the money line too. And she does this 24-hour vortex to open you to receive. And the real work that she did was my throat chakra. She opened up my throat chakra. I wasn't asking for what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I was like, we really need to market that. She's this whole series called The Magic of Receiving. And I'm helping her write the copy so that people could see how freaking amazing it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And part of it is valuing your gifts. Like her one-on-one was her cheapest thing. And I was like, no, honey.
No, that should be your most expensive, right?
Exactly. That's your most expensive
it's your time.
Right.
Can't get time back.
Right. And then reordering her services so that they reflect that. Right.
Yeah.
And also even having that conversation of like, how much money do you want to make in your business? Because that's going to determine like how much. She's a manifesting generator, but she's an emotional type. So her energy runs differently, you know? So honoring those things about who she is and what her gifts are. Like she has this line of community. So she's really good at creating community. And all she has to do is expand her community by asking for referrals.
Yeah.
And then also channeling her clients from one program to another. So bringing in that human design, you're not writing ads or creating reels when that's not your zone of genius. You're not writing copy when that's not your zone of genius, right?
So is this a course that you offer, or is this a one day thing? Like, how does this work to do it with you?
So the Marketing Your Magic is a 90-minute strategy session where we kind of figure out, okay, what's the offer? What are they getting? What's the outcome they're creating? So to say it in a concise way so people understand, like, why do I need to know this? Why do I need to buy this from you? Adjusting pricing, like where does it fit into your product suite? Because most people have a product suite, just like you have your numerology services, you have your membership. Like where does it fit into the grand scheme of things? And then we have a 45-minute working session where we sit there and we kind of brainstorm the marketing.
Okay.
Like I want to say it in your words.
Okay.
Because Elpida's going to say it in different words. And then we decide what it is you need. So usually there's social media posts. I'm redoing copy. I might be creating a website and all these things. And you get a checklist. And that one is $5K. So it's a game changer. Like for this client, she took her one-on-one sessions from $97 to $1,000 and reorganized everything where she's going to make her money back in like no time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And using what she has.
Like I always struggle when I hire people to help me with things like this. They don't help with the copy and they don't help with the restructuring to make things flow better, like things like that. I think that's why yours probably is different, is because you take the feng shui and the human design and combine them into a working flow of like, who are you and what can you, like, what is your genius basically? And then where are you getting stuck and how can we fix it? Like make it flow,
Right. And I'm doing the copy for her because that's not her zone of genius, but I'm also not making her entire marketing platform is growing this community she's created. And one of them is like, she's got all these little Facebook groups everywhere. And I was like, why don't you have one Facebook group that has all your previous and current clients and students?
Yeah.
Well, I never thought of that. And I was just like, because they're your market.
Yeah.
And then also creating, we created this little strategy for her to give her clients something to gift to their friends to bring them into the community as a referral. So that she's growing her community. Not everybody is a kind of a community kind of person. Like the woman I worked with today, she has this line of transitoriness, which is basically she's like a nomad. And I'm like, you're like the traveling medicine woman. You are supposed to go from group to group, from expert to expert, and help them where they need help. You're not
Yeah.
supposed to create your own community.
Yeah.
So they have different strategies,
Yeah.
right? And for
Yeah,
English,
which is awesome that you can tell the difference. That's good. And you can
yeah,
help
because
people with
you
that.
have, yeah, and a lot of times when we want the thing that we're like, ooh, that person, that pretty shiny thing, and we're trying to be someone we're not. Where I'm saying, you're beautiful the way that you are. Let me show you how to market the way that you're designed to market.
Yeah.
And then also
And
giving
that's
them
what
the
people
things,
need. Yeah.
yeah, and then giving them the things
So,
that they is not their zone of genius.
yeah.
Like the copy is not her zone of genius, and it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with her. She's amazing at what she does.
Yeah.
She just needs someone to handle that. Just like you need a personal chef and a cleaning lady, she
Yeah.
needs a copywriter. It's just like
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So will you post about these offers in the group, like in the
Yeah.
Facebook group? Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. And well, that's pretty much it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So so guys, if you want to, if you're not in the membership and you want to join the membership, I will put a link in this thread for you so that you can go check it out. If you're already in the membership, I can't wait to see you guys. It's going to be so fun. We're doing fun things. So anyway, and with that, we're going to end this, and I will see you all later. Have a great night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.